The silence hit me first. No clicking paws on hardwood. No jingling collar tags. No warm, wet nose nudging my hand and greeting. "Atlas," I called, setting down my work bag. "Atlas, come." Nothing. The house felt wrong, like all the air had been sucked out. My heart rate spiked. A warning sign Atlas would have caught. Would have already been alerting me about. "Mom." I walked into the kitchen where she was calmly chopping vegetables. "Where's Atlas?" She didn't look up. "We took care of it." Took care of what? The dog situation. The room tilted. I gripped the counter, feeling the aura starting. That strange metallic taste, the shimmer at the edge of my vision that meant I had maybe 90 seconds before the seizure hit. "Where is my service dog?" Mom finally looked at me, and her expression was so casual it made my blood freeze. "Your sister's afraid of dogs. We took him to the shelter this morning. Family comes first." "The shelter." My voice came out strangled. "You gave away my medical equipment." Dad walked in already in his post-work bourbon routine. "Don't be dramatic, Zara. It was just a dog. Just a dog." Atlas, who detected over 200 seizures in 3 years, who'd saved my life countless times, who'd given me independence, a career, a life outside these walls. "He's a service dog," I said, the words feeling thick. The aura was getting stronger. "I have papers. His prescribed medical equipment. I had 3 seizures this week." "Because you depend on that animal too much," Mom interrupted. "Maybe now you'll learn to manage without it." "I have epilepsy. I don't manage without him. He keeps me alive." "Your sister's been having panic attacks." Dad said like that explained everything. "The doctor says her fear of dogs is a real phobia. We couldn't have her visiting with that beast here. Then she doesn't visit." The shimmer was spreading. I needed to get to the ground. Needed to get safe. Needed Atlas to help position me so I wouldn't hurt myself when she's your sister. Mom said firmly. "She needs our support during the divorce." ILA. Of course. My older sister, who developed her phobia the same week I'd gotten Atlas, who'd spent 3 years making every family gathering about her fear, her needs, her drama, who was getting divorced because she cheated with 3 different men. But somehow that was being reframed as a mental health crisis requiring everyone's accommodation. "Which shelter?" I managed to ask, already pulling out my phone. "Does it matter?" They said he'd be adopted quickly. Well-trained dogs always are. I dialed 911. My hands shaking so badly I could barely hit the numbers. 911. "What's your emergency?" "My medical service dog has been stolen. I'm epileptic and about to have a seizure." I need That's when the world exploded into electrical chaos. I woke up in the hospital, my tongue swollen, my muscles screaming, and 4 in my arm. The EMT, a kind woman named Denise, was finishing paperwork. "Welcome back," she said gently. "You had a grand mal seizure. Pretty bad one." "My dog." "I heard you on the call. Police are already investigating. Your parents told them they surrendered the dog because your sister is afraid of dogs. He's my service dog. I have documentation." "I know, honey. What they did is theft. And since you had a seizure as a direct result, there could be additional charges." I started crying then. Not pretty tears, ugly body-shaking sobs. Atlas should have been here. He would have alerted me earlier. Would have helped me get somewhere safe. Would have stayed with me during the seizure, keeping my airway clear, preventing injury. How long was I out? About 6 minutes. Your parents didn't know what to do. Your mom kept saying you were being dramatic. Of course, she did. Dr. Patel came in, my neurologist for the past 5 years. Her face was tight with controlled anger. "Zara, I've been informed about your service dog. I need you to know I've already written a letter stating that Atlas is medically necessary equipment. What your parents did is no different than stealing a wheelchair or oxygen tank. Can we get him back?" "I've already called the shelter." They have him in holding. They can't adopt out a service dog without verification. But Zara, she paused. Your parents are in the waiting room. They're insisting on taking you home. No. The word came out harder than I'd ever spoken to any authority figure. They stole my medical equipment. They endangered my life. I'm not going anywhere with them. She nodded. I'll have security remove them. Do you have somewhere safe to go? I thought of my apartment, the one I'd been saving for, so close to finally having enough for the deposit. I'll figure it out. There's more, Dr. Patel said gently. The stress of this situation, the seizure. I'm mandating you can't be alone for 48 hours. No driving for a month. And we need to adjust your medications. Everything I'd worked for, my independence, my job, my life, crashing down because my parents decided Isla's fake phobia mattered more than my real disability. A knock at the door interrupted us. A police officer entered, notebook ready. Miss Grant, I'm Officer Williams. I need to take your statement about the theft of your service dog. Theft? Hearing it officially labeled made it real. I told him everything. How I'd gotten Atlas 3 years ago after a seizure at work had nearly killed me. How he was trained to detect seizures, get help keep me safe during episodes. How my parents had keys to my place for emergencies, but had used them to steal him while I was at work. Your mother claims the dog was aggressive toward your sister, he said. I pulled out my phone, still cracked from the fall. Here's 3 years of videos. Atlas with kids with other animals in public spaces. He's passed every behavioral test required for service dogs. And here, I scrolled frantically. Here's the video from last Christmas. Isla petting him. No fear. Officer Williams watched the video of Isla laughing as Atlas did his tricks, calling him such a good boy. Not a trace of phobia in sight. She seemed fine there, he noted. The fear started when she realized Atlas got me more attention than her anxiety did. It's always been about control with them. He took more notes than looked up. The shelter confirmed they have Atlas. We can retrieve him, but there's paperwork. And your parents are claiming ownership. I have all his papers. Registration, medical necessity letters, training certificates, vet records. Everything's in his folder at my apartment. We'll need those. And Miss Grant, given the circumstances, the theft of medical equipment resulting in hospitalization, this could be prosecuted as a felony. Good. Let them explain to their church friends why they're facing criminal charges. After he left, I called my friend Terry. We'd met in a seizure support group, and she understood without explanation. I'm coming to get you, she said immediately. You'll stay with me. We'll get Atlas back together. While waiting for discharge, I checked my phone. 27 missed calls from Mom, 41 from Dad, 18 from Isla. The family group chat was exploding. Mom. Zara is being vindictive as usual. All this over a dog. Dad. She called the police on us. Her own parents. Layla. I can't believe she's making my mental health about her. Some sister. Aunt Karen. What's happening? Mom. Zara is upset. We rehomed her dog. She's having one of her episodes. One of my episodes. Like my epilepsy was a personality flaw. I screenshot everything, then typed one response. You stole my medical equipment. I had a grand mal seizure as a direct result. I'm in the hospital. The police are investigating. Do not contact me again. Then I left the group chat. Terry arrived with a change of clothes and her service dog, Baxter. The moment I saw him, I broke down again. He looked nothing like Atlas. Baxter was a golden retriever, while Atlas was a German shepherd. But the vest, the calm presence, the trained attention, it all reminded me of what I'd lost. Well, get him back. Terry promised. I've already called Diane. Diane ran our state service dog advocacy organization. If anyone could cut through red tape, it was her. The next morning, armed with every piece of documentation I owned, we went to the shelter. Atlas was in the back in a special hold kennel. The moment he saw me, he started whining, a sound I'd never heard him make in 3 years. "I'm sorry," I whispered through the chain link. "I'm so sorry, buddy. I'm getting you out." He pressed against the fence, his trained composure cracking. He kept sniffing me, checking me over, his alert behavior indicating he could smell the seizure on me, the chemical changes that lingered. "He hasn't eaten," the shelter worker said softly. "Wouldn't take treats, wouldn't interact. We knew something was wrong. Real service dogs don't end up here." It took 3 hours of paperwork, verification calls to Dr. Patel and Diane threatening legal action. But finally, they brought Atlas out. He broke protocol completely, jumping on me, licking my face, whining and circling like he was trying to make up for missing the seizure. I sat on the shelter floor, sobbing into his fur while he performed every alert behavior in his repertoire, as if apologizing for not being there. "It's not your fault," I told him. "You're such a good boy. The best boy." We were loading him into Terry's car when my parents pulled up because of course they did. "Zara," Mom jumped out, her face a mask of indignation. "You're being ridiculous. Return the dog and come home." "She needs that dog more than I need your drama," Terry said flatly. "Back off." Dad approached, his face red. "We're your parents. We decide." "I'm 26 years old." I interrupted. "You decide nothing. And you're about to be arrested for what?" "Giving away a dog for theft of medical equipment valued at $20,000 for endangerment for violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Take your pick." Mom laughed. That bitter sound I knew so well. $20,000 for a dog. Service dogs cost between $20,000 and $30,000 to train, Officer Williams said, appearing behind them. He'd been waiting in his patrol car watching. "Miss Grant, are these the individuals who stole your service animal?" "Yes," I said clearly. "That's them." Sir, I need you to turn around and place your hands behind your back." The explosion was immediate. Mom screaming about family. Dad threatening to disown me. Both demanding to know how I could do this to them. "You did this to yourselves," I said. Atlas pressed firmly against my leg, grounding me. "You chose Isla's fake phobia over my real disability. You stole my independence. You caused a seizure that could have killed me. Family doesn't do that." As they were led away, Mom called out, "What about your sister? She needs support. Then support her." I called back from jail. The news spread through the family like wildfire. ILA called from 6 different numbers before I blocked them all. Aunts and uncles chose sides. Cousins whispered about the drama. And through it all, Atlas stayed by my side, alerting to 2 more seizures that week. Seizures I would have faced alone if my parents had their way. The charges were reduced to misdemeanors, but the damage was done. Dad lost his job when the arrest record surfaced. Mom was kicked out of her church volunteer position. Isla's divorce proceedings somehow got messier when her ex-husband's lawyer found out about the phobia that mysteriously appeared and disappeared. I moved to a new apartment, one they didn't have the address for. Changed my emergency contacts to Terry and Diane. Built a life where my medical needs weren't negotiable, where my independence wasn't conditional on someone else's comfort. 6 months later, I was at a coffee shop when I ran into my Aunt Linda. She looked uncomfortable, but approached anyway. "They miss you," she said quietly. "They miss controlling me," I corrected. "There's a difference. Isla's really struggling. Isla's always struggling. It's her full-time job. The difference is I'm not sacrificing my health for her anymore." Linda fidgeted. "Family forgives. Family doesn't steal medical equipment." I interrupted. "Family doesn't cause seizures. Family doesn't prioritize one person's fake needs over another's real ones. Atlas is my family. He saved my life 43 times since they tried to get rid of him. How many times did they save it?" She had no answer. Atlas alerted me to an oncoming seizure, then nudging my hand, circling to guide me to a safe spot. As I sat down letting him do his job, The job my parents tried to take away, I realized something. They'd said family comes first. They were right. Atlas was my family. He came first and he always would.